Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're bypassing the queue and diving straight into the critical take on a huge one, War II.
Yeah, the big spy thriller everyone's talking about.
Exactly. We've got a really detailed review here, and look, our mission today is pretty simple. Cut through the hype and tell you why some critics are calling this a technical marvel, while others are pointing to narrative issues.
It's a classic blockbuster dilemma, isn't it? You've got massive stars, huge budget, part of a whole cinematic universe. Expectations are sky high.
So we're going to distill that core critical view, help you understand the trade-offs involved.
Make it quick and clear.
Okay, let's start with the basics, the setup. Because, everything hangs on this. War II is about hunting down Kabir, Hrithik Roshan's character, former star agent.
You're right, the golden boy.
And now he's apparently gone rogue. A fugitive. That's the official story anyway.
And leading the hunt is this special officer, Vikram, played by Jr NTR, big Hindi debut for him. And the whole tension is built around Vikram supposedly being the only one skilled enough, maybe even motivated enough, to actually catch Kabir. Legend versus legend, kind of.
Sets up that perfect hero versus hero dynamic.
Yeah.
And obviously this leads to huge action sequences, plot twists, globe-trotting, trying to stop whatever Kabir's plan is. That's the basic pitch.
That's the pitch. But the big question from the review is, does it deliver a worthwhile cinematic experience?
And the answer seems to be sometimes.
Critically speaking, yes. If, and it's a big if, you judge cinema purely by its scale and sheer volume.
Okay, so let's start there then. The wow factor. What immediately hits you, according to this review? What makes you think, yeah, okay, I need to see this on a big screen?
Two things, mainly. Pure star power and just massive production value.
Right.
The critic really goes on about the tremendous screen presence of both Hrithik Roshan and Jr NTR.
Okay.
Hrithik, well, he's Kabir. He slips right back into that role, got the look, the gravitas, he's comfortable.
He owns that part by now.
Totally. But the real buzz, and the review really highlights this, is Jr NTR.
It's his Hindi debut.
And apparently he brings this incredible, electrifying energy. He really delivers on that promise, makes the whole confrontation feel significant.
So the star chemistry or rivalry works.
It absolutely does, on screen at least. And then beyond the actors, the film is just big, technically huge.
Technical flex, you said.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It leans heavily on scale. The review keeps coming back to that. It's spectacle first, story maybe second, and you can see the money everywhere.
And the review gets specific about the action, doesn't it? Not just good action.
Oh, yeah. Very specific. We're talking massive set pieces, clearly designed for the biggest screen possible, like huge aerial battles, really complex train chase sequences, boat action too.
Wow.
The critic calls them big set pieces and basically says that's why you go to the cinema for this film, that experience.
So the scale is undeniable.
Undeniable. And it's consistent, at least in this part of the review. They used glamorous global locations. The visuals feel expensive, high stakes. It's glossy.
Okay.
If you just want that loud, adrenaline-pumping visual feast, the review suggests that this film absolutely provides it.
Sounds like the action and visuals team really earned their keep. But, well, a film isn't just the shiny wrapper, is it?
Mm-mm.
When the critic looked under the hood at the engine, the script, that's where things started to wobble. Big shift in tone in the reviewer.
Oh, incredibly stark, yeah. 1 minute it's praising the spectacle, the next it's identifying the script and the story as the, quote, biggest weak point of the whole thing.
Oof, biggest weak point. That's pretty damning for a spy thriller.
Yeah.
I mean, that genre lives or dies on plot, on twists, on motivation.
Exactly. Precision is key there.
So where did it go wrong, according to the review? Specifically.
Well, the criticism seems to boil down to about three main things. First, the core story itself. Just very cliche, seen it before.
Familiar beats. Okay.
Second, the twists. You know, the big reveals that are supposed to keep you guessing. They're described as having an old-fashioned imprint. Purani chalk, the review said.
Old-fashioned, like predictable.
Yeah, dated, familiar. They don't land with the surprise you'd expect from a modern thriller.
That's rough. If the twists feel like something you saw 20 years ago, it kills the suspense.
It really does. And the third point is maybe the most critical for a spy film. The actual plotting is called disorganized. Betartib was the word used. Messy, chaotic.
Messy plotting in a spy movie. That sounds fatal.
It's a huge problem. A spy story needs that tight, logical progression. If things feel random or unconnected, the audience just gets lost. Or worse, they stop caring.
Okay, but hang on. You said Jr NTR's performance was electrifying. How does that square with the script being weak? Did the writing just not serve him properly?
That's a really important question, and the review seems to lean towards the writing being the issue, not the performance. It notes that his character, Vikram, gets plenty of moments, plenty of opportunities to shine. But because the writing itself is messy, the motivations may be a bit cliche, the character doesn't fully flourish.
Ah, potential unrealized because of the script.
Exactly. The actor is bringing it, but the framework is shaky.
So you've got these, like, A-list stars kind of trapped in maybe a B-list script structure.
That seems to be the core criticism, yeah.
And then there's the runtime. Almost 3 hours. That's a commitment.
A huge commitment for an action film.
That length must make the writing problems feel even worse, especially if the pacing isn't great.
It definitely does. The review is very clear on this point. It clocks in around 3 hours, and apparently the pace really slows down in the second half.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the film Kit Shati Hai is the Hindi phrase used. It drags, it feels stretched out, unnecessarily long.
Did they confuse length with depth or something?
Possibly. The critic implies that maybe the producers thought longer equals more epic, but when the story is already feeling a bit shaky and disorganized, dragging it out just makes those flaws more obvious.
Yeah, if you're checking your watch 2 hours in, the spectacle probably isn't enough anymore. It just feels like filler.
Precisely.
We talked about the technical strengths earlier, the big action, the locations. But even that wasn't totally consistent, was it? The visual polish.
No, and that's another interesting point the review makes. It suggests maybe a lack of consistent quality control. Despite all the effort to look glossy and expensive, the critic points out that the VFX and even the color grading are weak in several spots.
Really? In a film this big?
Yeah, noticeable enough to mention, so that polish isn't uniform across the whole 3 hours.
That kind of inconsistency can really pull you out of the moment, can't it?
Yeah.
If you spot some dodgy CGI right in the middle of a huge action scene.
Exactly, it breaks the illusion. And furthermore, some of the production design choices, some settings were even criticized as being a tie excessive.
Over the top.
Yeah, overdone, maybe not really serving the story, just there to look extravagant, which kind of reinforces that idea of prioritizing flash over substance. And one last point on the structure. The supporting characters. Apparently they just don't make much of an impression.
Really? Just fade into the background.
Seems so. Suggests the script was so focused on the two big leads that the surrounding world, the other agents, the villains maybe, felt underdeveloped. Sacrificed for the star focus.
Okay, so wrapping this section up, it's a real mixed bag. We've got undeniable world-class action, we've got huge star presence, but that's running headfirst into a script that's called cliché, messy, too long, and drags in the second half.
A fundamental conflict at the heart of the film.
So how does the critic ultimately balance this? Action versus narrative. What's the final verdict for you, the listener?
Well, the conclusion in the review is actually quite neat because it offers a split recommendation based on what you, the viewer, are looking for.
Okay, tell me more.
If your primary goal is just the action, the big screen glamour, the thrill ride, if you want the big stars, the massive set pieces, that high-octane atmosphere, then the review says War II is worth it. You're paying for that spectacle, and on that level, it delivers.
That's a really important distinction, though. It confirms the technical side is strong enough to carry it, but only if you're not prioritizing the story.
Precisely. But, and this is a major but, the critic adds a heavy warning. If you're looking for a well-organized story, if you want emotional depth, tight plotting, a script that feels clever or respects your intelligence, then the film apparently doesn't stand up. It fails to meet those expectations.
So the recommendation depends entirely on your personal criteria for a good movie night.
Completely. Which leads to the specific viewing advice.
Right, if I'm all about the spectacle, the action junkie.
Theater, no question. The review is clear. Watch it on the biggest screen you can find to get the full impact of the budget, the scale, the action. That's where the fun is.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And if I'm someone who really needs a good story, and I'm worried about that 3-hour runtime and the pacing issues,
then the critic suggests waiting for it to hit OTT, a streaming platform. That's the safer bet if you're concerned about investing cinema prices and 3 hours into a film whose main criticism is its messy script and structure.
Watch it at home, where the stakes are lower if the story doesn't hold up.
Exactly. You manage your expectations and your wallet.
Okay, so summing all that up, where did the critic land with the rating, given this huge internal conflict?
Right in the middle, as you might expect. 2.5 to 3 stars out of 5.
Average?
Pretty much average, yeah. functionally watchable, maybe even enjoyable in parts, but only really elevated by its scale and stars, not by its actual storytelling craft.
That split recommendation itself feels very modern, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Go to the cinema for the experience, but maybe wait for streaming if you care about the story.
It really does. And what's fascinating, just stepping back for a second, is the sheer commercial confidence that implies.
How so?
Well, think about it. A nearly 3-hour film is openly called out for having a messy story, predictable twists, and a dragging pace. Yet it's still recommended for a cinema viewing if you just want the spectacle.
It assumes the spectacle alone is enough to justify the ticket for a certain audience.
Precisely. It's like the visual and auditory experience is now considered a completely separate and equally valid product from the narrative itself.
The container versus the content.
Yeah. And this raises a really interesting, maybe slightly provocative question for you, the listener, to think about.
Let's hear it.
If these huge, big-budget productions are now seemingly comfortable prioritizing the sensory experience, the booming sound, the massive visuals, the exotic locations, to the point where they almost assume it outweighs the need for a really solid, well-structured narrative, what does that signal for the future of mainstream cinema?
Are we getting to a place where the experience is everything and a good script is just a nice bonus if you get it?
Is narrative solidity becoming optional window dressing for blockbusters? It's definitely something to mull over next time you're deciding whether to head to the multiplex or just wait for it to land on your streaming service.
A lot to think about there. That's our deep dive into the critical reaction to War II.
A film of two halves, it seems.
Definitely sounds like it.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.